Hello, good afternoon and welcome to News Today on your Joy News channel here on Multi TV. Coming up in the next hour, the plush Ford Expedition 2010 model. That's the gifts the man who contracts says he gave to President Mahama. Is it a gift or a bribe? We'll bring you more in a bit. Also ahead, Chief Justice charged to come out with clear roadmap on ways to effectively deal with election-related disputes in the country. And trading activities resume at Kantamanto CND market today as blockades erected by private developers seeking to take over the land are removed. We have details of those stories, plus a lot more including business, sports, entertainment, as well as international updates, all coming up in the next hour here on News Today. Stay with us. My name is Kwabena Chenchen. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today. To our very first story, the Tsar and the foreign contractor who is encouraged by his Ghanaian counterpart to bid for a road contract in Ghana does not win that bid. His Ghanaian friend leads him to see a powerful government official in Ghana. At that meeting, the foreign contractor tells this powerful government official the work he does. He becomes friends with him and since that very first encounter in 2010 and goes on to win contracts. He is the contractor behind the controversial $650,000 Ghana Embassy Fence Wall project in Burkina Faso in 2012. Manasseh Azuriawene has more.
What you have to do is politics. It's not politics. If I buy the building, you are continuing.
The atmosphere in the air-conditioned office of Jibril Kanazui, a renowned contractor and businessman in Ouagadougou, is heated. Jibril Kanazui paused my interview with him and seized the voice recorder. He accused me of trapping him to disclose information he would ordinarily not disclose. I was in Burkina Faso to investigate allegations that he used undue influence to win a contract. He defended the process through which he won the contract and justified the cost of the project. The Ghana Embassy Fence Wall in Burkina Faso was built around a piece of land that is yet to be developed. The land is about the size of a football pitch and is located at the ambassadorial enclave in Ouagadougou. Ghana's ambassador to Burkina Faso at the time of the project, Chief Dauda Mandiaya Baumia, said he wrote to Mr. Kanazui and two other contractors to submit quotations for the project. He does not remember the names of the other two. There are allegations that the contractor who eventually won the contract is his close friend. Chief Baumia does not dispute this claim.
He's my friend and he continues to be my friend because we didn't break up the relationship after I left.
Mr. Kanazui explains how he won the contract.
Each institution have his way of managing his contracts matter. We got a letter from the embassy that a bid, and we have sent our code. We replied to the bid. And we got the contract.
Was it advertised in newspapers or they wrote to you directly?
Oh, they wrote to us. It was not on newspaper.
A former chief executive officer of the Public Procurement Authority, Ajenim Boatiaje, said a contract of this nature should have gone through competitive bidding.
The law has provided for thresholds above which a method is to be used. Now, if you talk of a 650,000 or a 2 million contract or 2 million procurement, the law definitely requires that, one, you cannot use request for quotation because it's got a threshold of 20,000 and above. It could either be a national competitive tendering or international competitive tendering.
He said the Foreign Affairs Ministry could have obtained approval from the Public Procurement Authority if it wanted to use restricted tender.
Restrictive tendering and sole source are methods which are not restricted by value. But then the law makes a clear provides a clear instructions that such methods of procurement must have a prior approval from the Public Procurement Authority.
Attempts to get details of the contract from the Foreign Affairs Ministry yielded no results. The Public Procurement Authority, on the other hand, would not comment on whether the ministry sought approval or not. In the office of Mr. Kanazwe hangs a photograph of him and President John Mahama. Exactly a week before I went to meet him in Burkina Faso, President Mahama had commissioned the 46-kilometer Dodo Pepeso section of the Eastern Corridor Road, Mr. Kanazwe's latest project in Ghana.
I also want to take the opportunity to thank Messrs. Umaru Kanazwe, Contractors Limited of Burkina Faso, for the very high quality of work they have done on this stretch of road. As I said, perhaps this is one of the best quality roads in Ghana today.
Joy News has evidence that Jibril Kanazwe sent a brand new Ford Expedition vehicle to President Mahama in 2012, the year he got the embassy fence wall contract and a 25.9 million euros road contract.
There was this vehicle you gave as a gift in 2012, that's the Ford Expedition. Was it meant for the ambassador or it was meant for the president?
No, that one, I'm not aware of that one. I'm just aware of the wall.
But you also gave a Ford Expedition car to the ambassador, and I want to know who it was intended for.
No, I did not give a Ford Expedition to the ambassador.
In 2012, when the vehicle was given, Ghana's embassy in Burkina Faso wrote a letter ordering border authorities at Paga to allow the vehicle to pass. That letter reads,
I have been directed to inform you that the Ghana mission in Ouagadougou is assisting with the transportation of a gift donated to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, by Mr. Jibril Kanazwe, a renowned contractor in Burkina Faso. The said gift is a Ford Expedition with engine number E173 A190 5101. and chassis number 1FMJ UI J58 AEB 60748. I am to request the competent Ghanaian border authorities at the Paga border to kindly assist with the passage of the said vehicle and those transporting it without any let or hindrance. I wish to take this opportunity on behalf of His Excellency the Ambassador to express the mission's appreciation in anticipation of your kind cooperation. Signed for Head of Mission by Maxwell Nyakonlate, Head of Chancery.
After showing this letter to Mr. Kanazwe, he admitted sending the vehicle to President Mahama.
It is a letter which suggests that you sent a gift of Ford Expedition. The chassis number is quoted
to the
here.
ambassador.
Yes, to be given to the president. This is the chassis number.
This is to the president, not to the ambassador.
Yes, so did you give a gift to the president?
Yes.
You gave a gift?
Yeah.
Ghana's ambassador to Burkina Faso at the time, Chief Dauda Baumia, told Joy News he facilitated the passage of the vehicle through the Paga border into Ghana.
When the laissez-passer was issued, I did accompany the car to Bolgatanga, handed it over to the Upper East Regional Minister then to forward it to the president, telling him how the car came, that it was a gift from Jibril Kanazwe.
But you are aware it was handed over to the president?
I handed it over to the then Upper East Regional Minister.
Makoyongo.
Yes, and that is all that I know as at now. But I do believe that, yes, it would have been handed over to the president.
Jibril Kanazwe said President Mahama acknowledged receipt of the vehicle.
He called me, he said, thank you very much.
So after receiving the car, he called you to thank you for the gift?
Yes.
And I was joining News' Manasseh Azuria with that report, and just to inform you, this is just the first part of that. The longer version of this very report will be aired later today at 3 p.m. on our news and news analysis program, The Pulse. Away from that now, and political scientist at the Institute of Economic Affairs, Joseph Achuayi, has charged the Chief Justice to come out with a clear roadmap on how to handle election-related disputes in the country. According to him, too much time was wasted during the long-standing tussle at the Supreme Court over the verdict of the 2012 elections in the country, a clear indication of the need for a roadmap to handle such issues. Now, he's proposing an option similar to that of Kenya, where an election dispute was dealt with in 2 weeks. Joseph Ayi has also been calling on new EC Chair Charlotte Osei to do more in ensuring credible polls in this year's general elections. Kwete Nate joins me now on phone now with more on this. So, Kwete, what more has the political scientist been saying today?
Chanchaini, he made reference to the challenges the country was faced with during the election petition hearing at the Supreme Court. He thought that because we weren't prepared for such an event, it had to drag for over 8 months. So he called for a uniform application of sanctions and a review of our electoral offenses. He believes that such a move should be pushed by the Chief Justice. According to him, there are issues that drag during the electioneering period. Hence, the need for the Chief Justice to put in place a roadmap indicating how to deal with some of these things. He also made mention of the need for the Electoral Commission to address the perception of the new EC board could be manipulated. So he wants the EC to provide the public with more information, and also there should be a collective way of addressing issues. He makes the point that there are the other commissioners who can address issues. It shouldn't be the space of the new EC board alone, so that it doesn't create the impression that the Electoral Commission is Charlotte Osei, and Charlotte Osei is also the Electoral Commission. He also pointed out that it's worrying that 5 months to the election, the EC still does not have a credible voters register.
Kwete, who else has been at this program, and what has been the message?
The General Secretary of the Christian Council, Reverend Dr. Kwabno Punifrempong, has also been speaking. He mainly touched on the role the church can play during the election, as well as its members. His point is that there are members who are politicians, so the church must play a crucial role as we approach the general election.
Right, Kwete Nate, many thanks for that update. And that was my colleague Kwete Nate, who just joined us with updates over there. Away from that, now in trading activities have resumed at the Kantamanto CMB markets today as blockades erected by a private developer seeking to take over the land have been removed, we are told. Yesterday, guards from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and armed police officers stormed the markets and ordered the traders to leave. Joining us is Joseph Akable is there and is joining me now on the phone, I believe, with an update. Okay, so we do not have Joseph Akable on the line now, but let's bring you some visuals of things that have been happening at that market today.
And you also just some young as from Mamma, any had the Amobeko.
Any problem? I bear market now, any problem. If we say market, no, wow, you come, Shahani, or can she, a ben young. So, this one year, baby, a bank, say, Remy is what can I say? Where you want us to phone or the Ambeco, any problem, sir? No one say, if you are crying a day.
I'm saying, Wahanum say, no problem, you have to say, please for name might be Wahanum say, Omomake be Rumuha. To make a crown on the block of Quino. Anim honum na omopamu yesi yankonti mimi tumi ka koyi ti akire anope akire ne yete se afede mpanifo bi no makokasa ma omafie akọ ti ampani ampa anope bae no na yese ye kas ne bi wo station yanum sei di yete yan se jama mpanifo no akasa se like say bia omune mpanifo na kasa se bia omunya akire di ansa ti o ma membre ye ate se o ma membre se on be san be biu.
We'll bring you more on this in a while, but time now for a break here on News Today on your Join this channel on Multi TV. We'll be back shortly with some more stories. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today to some more stories. Now, this time, politics. And flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Nana Dodonko Akufo-Addo, was promised to reinstate allowances for teacher and nurses trainees if voted as president in the November polls. The twice defeated flag bearer made the promise at the nursing and midwifery school at Kolebu when the party resumed its grassroots campaign in the Ablekuma South constituency. Nana Akufo-Addo is also promising to end corruption and patrolling when he addressed the people of Choko, a predominantly fishing community here in Accra.
A decent educational system and a decent healthcare system. That is the foundation of any decent country. We are going to build a decent healthcare system here in Ghana. And what does it mean? Those of you who are studying to be health professionals, we have a duty to look after you. And that is why in Kufuor's time, when we did not have oil, he was able to pay teacher training allowances and nurses training allowances. Mahama with oil has cancelled these allowances. I am saying to you, God willing, I win in December or November. Teacher training allowances are coming back. It's a non-negotiable situation. And we're going to create a situation that you are going to find work to do. The country needs all of you to be working, not sitting at home for 3, 4, 5 years, but to be working and putting your talents to use for the benefit of the society. That's what's going to happen. May God bless you all, and take it easy.
Let's just stay with politics. This time around, let's turn our attention to the Klote-Kole constituency, because we know that very seat has been a seat where quite a number of issues have been arising out of in the past few weeks or so, particularly in the build-up to this year's general elections. Well, we are told of a developing issue there, particularly the one relating to Member of Parliament for the area, Nneɛma Ashite, and Dr. Zaneto Rollins. My colleague Raymond Akwa has just returned from court and is bringing me details of that now. So Raymond, can you tell us what really this development is?
So the Supreme Court has actually dismissed the review application which was brought by Mr. Ashite's lawyer, Gary Nimako. You do recall that the court previously had actually asked the lower court, being the High Court, to put on hold proceedings at that particular level whilst it considers the substantive issue of Dr. Zaneto's eligibility to contest the NDC slot in that particular constituency. What the court today was supposed to do was to seek a repanel so that they can deal with the matter fully. But the lawyer for Mr. Ashite withdrew the application after several of the judges raised concerns about the quality and the standard of this particular application. In fact, they said it was pretty premature, so he took a cue from them and said, "My lord, as I'm taking a cue from you, I wish to withdraw it." Then they dismissed it in its entirety. This brings us back to point zero, where we have to do with a substantive issue. The case before the Supreme Court is whether or not the High Court failed to do due diligence or decided to do interpretation of Article 94(1) of the Constitution, which was outside of its remit. Indeed, it's the responsibility of the Supreme Court to do constitutional interpretation. So that is what Zaneto's lawyer, Godwin Tamaklo, asked the court to do. Dismiss the case before the High Court because it's pretty premature. Premature because the young lady is just a nominee of the NDC who has not been put before the, what they call it, Electoral Commission as the NDC's candidate. So cannot be bound by rules that do not exist in our constitution, but are only in the NDC's guidelines. So this is what the court will do it substantively.
Okay. And was there any reaction to this by Nneɛma Ashite or even his lawyer?
No, Nneɛma Ashite's lawyer actually made it clear that we withdrew it and we had other plans in mind. We don't want to even obstruct the process. We just want to go to the substantive case since that's the most important issue where we are before the court. We know that we still get a headway at the end of the day.
Are they looking at any other options now?
No, they still are waiting for the court to give them the go-ahead to sit on the main case.
Okay.
But Dr. Zaneto's lawyer was clear in his mind that he knew this was a failed adventure in the first place and that they should also file their addresses. What is left now is that Dr. Zaneto's lawyer has already filed his final address. When Nneɛma Ashite's lawyer also filed their address, then the Supreme Court will have a final determination of the case.
Okay, right. Raymond, many thanks for those details. And that was my colleague Raymond Akwa, who just returned from court with details of that case involving Dr. Zaneto Rollins and Nneɛma Ashite. Now, preparing for exams the hard way. That's the story of final year students of Dodoma Basic School in the Upper West region who study under very deplorable conditions and yet keep hopes of matching their mates in the city. Joy News' Justice Beidou visited the community as they prepared to sit for this year's BECE for the first time and has sent this report.
Class 10, greet.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
We are fine, thank you, sir.
Sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Last pep talk before the D-Day. These are final year students of the Dodoma Basic School in the Wa West District preparing for their basic education certificate exams. They are the first batch of students going to write the exam since their school began. For many of them, this is the biggest day in their lives.
I have problem in social studies.
Problem in social studies?
Yes, sir.
Is it the whole subject or some topics?
Yes.
As now we have done all our best. We have prepared them fully. We wrote mocks about twice. And just recently we have ended with the district mocks that they have also organized it for the whole district. So we have just finished that one. So we are confident that to know that at this moment, the students, they are also going to participate with those who are also staying in city.
Government has recently put up new structures for the school, and its pupils are on the National School Feeding Program, which provides 1 hot meal a day for poor children who couldn't afford to buy food before so they can stay in school. But the school is still heavily challenged. Teachers refuse postings to the community. Dodoma itself has no road network, cutting it off from other villages around it. There's no health facility, mobile telephony network, and no electricity.
Change of lesson, please.
As night falls, so do dreams of many of the young people going to write the BECE. With no source of power to study, their fate in the exam hangs in the balance. Here, in one of the thatch-roofed mud houses, I've come to meet 3 of them, fending off flies who are feasting on their books because of the torchlight they are using to learn. The household itself is filled with smoke as cooking activities run late into the night.
This is just one of the many manifestations of inequalities. Even in Ghana's educational system, children, by their geographical location, are pitched into groups with the haves on the one hand and the have-nots on the other.
I want to be a doctor to save people's life whenever they are sick.
The Upper West region, where Dodoma is located, is Ghana's poorest. More than 6 out of every 10 people who have sat for the BECE in the last 10 years in this region have failed to make the minimum pass mark, according to figures at the Regional Education Service. Most of them, with dreams of ever moving on the academic ladder crushed, are relegated to join the ever-growing population of Ghana's unemployed youth. As pupils of Dodoma get ready to join thousands of their classmates nationwide for this year's BECE, they hope to change that narrative. Justice Beidou, Joy News, Dodoma.
If you get all the subject AA, all your school fees, I will pay everything for you.
You're still watching News Today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. News just coming in suggests the government has officially responded to that story brought to you a short while ago about some supposed underhand dealings in the award of some contracts here in the country. That's very report brought to you by Manasseh Azuri Awene. My colleague Fred Smith has just joined me in studio with more on this breaking news. So, Fred, tell us exactly what this statement from government is saying. What has
well, it's a statement signed by the Communications Minister, Dr. Edward Omane Boama.
Okay.
And it's titled, Ministry of Communications Refutes False Claims Against President Mahama. I'll read to you as it's written, no editing.
Okay.
Verbatim.
Right.
Well, the Ministry of Communications has noted the contents of a program aired on Joy FM this morning, and you know, the documentary or the report was also filed on the Super Morning Show as well as the 6 a.m. news on Joy FM. The statement says the program sought to link a vehicle presented to the president in 2012 to 2 contracts awarded to a Burkinabe-owned construction firm. The said vehicle, which was placed in the vehicle pool at the presidency as per established convention, had nothing to do with the award of the contracts. The inference of conflict of interest is therefore absolutely false and untenable. Now, the statement provides the facts to this. It says, construction works at Ghana Embassy, Burkina Faso, and that is one of the contracts that Manasseh cited in that report. This is what the statement says. The processes for the construction of a perimeter fence wall on a large parcel of land allocated to the government of Ghana began in 2011, prior to President John Mahama becoming president. The scope of construction works on the 673 meters long fence wall involved 1. Removal of topsoil, clearing of existing rice farm, and compensation for owners in accordance with Burkinabe laws. Reinforced concrete wall with an overall thickness of 300 millimeters and an average height of 220 millimeters above ground and 80 millimeters below ground. 3. The midsection of the wall involved a reinforced 12 millimeter diameter high tensile steel at 450 millimeter centers both ways. And 4. Construction of security posts with visitors waiting area, among others. It says Ghana's mission in Burkina Faso forwarded 3 quotations from construction companies to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration for consideration. The quotations from the respective companies were as follows, and there's a list of them. 1. Canazo Frares, Cositrap, and Ibos. The statement continues. The Architectural Engineering Services Limited, AESL, provided pre- and post-contract consultancy services in terms of architectural, structural, land surveying, quantity surveying services, leading to preparation of technical specification, bills of quantities and tender documents, evaluation of tenders, award of contract, and supervision of selected contractor to execute the construction works. It says, upon due diligence, the contract was awarded to Canazo Frares, who presented the lowest figure among the 3 companies. It says there was no involvement whatsoever of the president in the processes leading up to the award of this contract. Any suggestion, therefore, to the contrary is probably false and untenable. Now to the second contract that is linked to this issue. It says the 46.4 kilometer European Union funded Dodo Pepesu Road contract. The explanation is that the award of this contract was the result of an international competitive bidding process which was in compliance with laid down requirements of the European Union. There was absolutely no involvement of the president in the processes leading to the award of this contract. Again, any suggestion of conflict of interest in the award of this contract is without merit. The president remains committed to transparency and accountability in governance and has worked over the past years to make that a cornerstone of his administration. That commitment is unwavering. Statement signed by Edward Omanebuama, Doctor, Minister for Communications here in Accra.
And this statement just came in from the Ministry of Communications?
Yeah, it just came in from the Communications Ministry in response to the reports we started airing since 6 a.m. today.
Okay. Fred, many thanks for your time on news today. And that was my colleague Fred Smith with extracts of that statement by the Communications Ministry. Indeed, he did read it verbatim for you. We'll be bringing you more on this, including analysis on what constitutes a bribe later today at 3 p.m. on The Pulse. That's our news analysis program. Time now for some updates in the world of business after this break. Now time for some business. And leading mobile operator MTN Ghana has advanced moves to pay interest on the funds subscribers keep on its mobile money platform. This would even take retrospective effect from January. The Bank of Ghana has initiated plans to compel such electronic money transfer service providers to pay interest on subscriber deposit because such funds are considered comparable to investment. The CEO of MTN, Ebenezer Asante, tells Joy Business they are only awaiting approval from the central bank to lead the way, like in the ISO certification of their platform.
The central bank wants the operators to pay interest on subscriber deposits because such funds are considered comparable to investments. Leading mobile operator MTN Ghana has advanced moves to do so for subscribers on its mobile money platform. This would even take retrospective effects from January. The CEO, Ebenezer Asante, tells Joy Business they are only awaiting approval from the central bank to lead the way, like in the ISO certification of their platform.
Remember, the ISO certification is also part of the central bank requirement, but they gave us almost 1 year to get there. But we are happy to have attained that one way ahead of time. In the same vein, for the interest payment, we now are engaging the banks to finalize the interest levels, and once that is done, we now have about 13 banks that we work with. And once we finish that exercise, we'll be able to communicate transparently how much interest customers will get. And once the communication happens, the interest payment will also happen. In fact, even as we speak, whatever we get, so long as they pay from a certain timeline, we would also pay the same to the customers, not from the point of the announcement, but from the point of reference in terms of where the banks will start paying from. We would also pay the interest to the customers.
The Bank of Ghana has said it is taking all the necessary steps to ensure subscribers are not shortchanged in the process. But how about transactions across the platforms of the various telcos? Mobile Financial Services Manager at Vodafone Ghana, Carl Ashi, believes more stakeholder engagement is critical.
But I think as telcos, what we want to do is to make sure we can have consultations so we understand the implications, the end-to-end implications of interoperability. It's a good thing. I mean, it will help people understand that mobile money is a currency. People can do whatever they need to do, just like they do it with cash. So it's a step in the right direction, but we just like every new thing, we need to make sure we understand the implications, and then we also work around it so we can come out with a product that people would never, have issues with. So I think it's a step in the right direction.
The Bank of Ghana has, however, hinted of plans to revise the current rules for electronic transactions in the country, the Electronic Money Issuers Guidelines. The central bank is to soon initiate the process in a bid to boost financial inclusion through digital technology.
Statistics indicate that over 630,000 businesses were registered in the country in 2014. Out of this figure, almost 80% was made up of micro-enterprises. Here's more on the Integrated Establishment Survey report released by the Ghana Statistical Service.
The Integrated Business Establishment Survey was initiated in 2014 to provide credible data on the formal and informal businesses operating in the country to help in economic planning. It captured data on non-household businesses operating in the country. According to the report, about 83% of non-household businesses could be found in the services sector. Industry followed with 17%, while agriculture recorded less than 1%. Project coordinator Anthony Cracker shared some more findings.
Yeah, we found out we have about 638,000 establishments in the country, and found about 3.4 million jobs. These 638,000 establishments employ about 3.4 million people in the country. And then for 2014, we also realized that about 208,000 jobs were created countrywide by these non-household establishments. Yes, you realize that in all, you see that about more than a third of these employments were in Greater Accra region, for instance. Whilst the region has about a quarter of establishments. Now, you realize that even though there are a lot of micro or small businesses, they do not contribute much to employment, unlike the large ones.
Launching the report on behalf of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Chief Director of the Ministry, Duanoba Baker, highlighted the importance of this report in shaping government's decisions.
Mr. Chairman, over the years, my ministry has successfully collaborated with the GSS to conduct industrial censuses which focus only on the industrial sector in Ghana. The current economic census, IBES, however, spans all sectors of the economy, and I am reliably informed that it is the first of its kind to be conducted in Ghana. This indeed is a great achievement, and my ministry is proud to be associated with it.
The Ghana Statistical Service is working on the second phase of the report, which would give detailed information on the 22 subsectors of the economy.
So that'll be it for business. But for more business stories, you can join me at 1 on the marketplace. Today on the marketplace, we are looking at the implications of that marginal increase in inflation here in Ghana, in your pocket, and of course, your living standards there. So kindly join me. My name is John Kojo Amok. Coming up next is your sports.
Good afternoon, still here on News Today. My name is Benedict Owusu. We'll talk some sports now. Ghana risk losing out on a place in boxing at Rio 2016 Olympics. Now, this is because the Ghana Amateur Boxing Federation is in desperate need of $25,000 to enable 6 boxers go through the penultimate round of qualifiers to the games. Now, the qualifiers are scheduled to take place in Baku, that's Azerbaijan, from 16th to 25th of June. But the Ghana Amateur Boxing Federation, their appeal to support from government for $25,000 has yielded no results. Joining us on the telephone line is President of the Ghana Amateur Boxing Federation, that's Gideon Korte, for some more details into the situation. Mr. Korte, thanks so much for joining me here on News Today. First of all, what's been the situation? We already know that you're looking for $25,000 to carry athletes, your boxers from here to Azerbaijan. You've contacted the sports ministry. No, help is coming. What's going to be the other option, because the tournament or the qualifiers is starting tomorrow? Hello, Mr. Korte. Okay, we don't have Mr. Korte on the line. We'll try and re-establish contact with him so he can really tell us what they're going to do to raise funds for that trip, which they are supposed to embark on in Azerbaijan for that qualifier. If not, it means we're not going to have any boxer at the Rio 2016 Olympics. Remember, the Olympics will happen in August in Brazil. Now we move on and do some football story. An Italy-based Ghanaian player, David Johnson Yeboah, wants to emulate Kojo Asamoah, who plays club football for Juventus, and other Ghanaian players in the Serie A to build on his promising career. Now, the Taranto FC player was amazing for the Italian lower division side last season. Johnson Yeboah, who is on holidays in Ghana, wants to be a hit by moving into the Italian top flight.
Yeah, I think so. I want to follow their footsteps. I even spoke to him for a while, about 3 to 4 minutes. He spoke to me, gave me some advice. So, like I said, I'm very pleased to be here with them.
Personally, how is it going for you at your club?
It's going well. It's went well this season, and I played 27 matches and scored 4 goals. I think it went well.
That's impressive. Are you looking for new opportunities, or you would want to stay there next season?
Yeah. That's what I'm looking at. And I think my agent, Oliver, is working on it.
So let's go back to our earlier story, the one about the Ghana team, that's the Amateur Boxing Federation, trying to raise $25,000 to carry the athletes from here to Azerbaijan for the last qualifiers ahead to the Rio Olympics. And I'm joined on the line by Mr. Gideon Korte, who is president of the Ghana Amateur Boxing Federation. Mr. Korte, thanks so much for joining me on News Today. I was asking that now that we've got just a day to go, now the sports ministry says no money, nothing from the National Sports Authority. What are you guys going to do?
We have also seek other corporate bodies and individuals if they will assist. But it seems the whole story. They are also seeking for tax rebates here and there. But it's almost late now. It was about 12. And since for a long time, this boys has been training. We have been saying that if it's not going to be possible, they should let us know, so that we can disperse the team. But
so what it means is that we are not going for the qualifiers?
That's exactly, because it's almost about 12 now, and if we are supposed to leave, on the 16th is the beginning, that's the registration and everything. The team is supposed to leave here today, and I don't know, we cannot conjure magic, or we can hire a flight to the place. Even what to go and rent accommodation and this thing has been a challenge.
Mr. Kote, this obviously is bad for Ghana, because at the last Olympics we were there with boxers, and this time you're not going. So who is to be blamed?
Well, we have done our best. The team has prepared very well, and this is a clear chance because we have about 5 people to qualify in majority of the weights that our boys will be participating in. It's just unfortunate that this no money syndrome has affected us.
Okay, finally before I take leave of you. Yeah, Mr. Kote, I don't have enough time. Finally, before I take leave of you, have you communicated this to the boxers?
Yes, we have to start that when we have information from IBA, that's the International Amateur Boxing Federation Association. They will send us the details for us to prepare, and we've done all what is necessary for us.
So it's official.
Even GOC promised to even buy us the ticket.
So it's official.
They are ready to buy us the ticket, but unfortunately, we couldn't get the accommodation and lodging.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Gideon Kote. He's president of the Ghana Amateur Boxing Federation. So from the interview we just had with him, it's official that Ghana, we're not going to have boxing representatives at the Rio 2016 Olympics. And as we speak now, we've qualified just 8 athletes for the competition, which will start barely in 3 months from now.
That's how we end news today this afternoon on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. My name is Kwabena Chenchehenebwati. There's more news when you log on to www.myjoyonline.com. The Marketplace comes up next with John Kujoma. Many thanks for your company.